morning again, class.
Good morning, Miss.
I don't need you to be quiet. I need you to talk. Okay?
Good morning, Miss.
Okay, good morning. Okay, so last mathematics class, we were looking at measurement, right? Can anybody tell me what you remember from that class?
Me?
Yes.
You have centimeter, millimeter, kilometer,
Yes.
decimeter.
Very good. Anybody else?
Decimal, Miss.
Nayanda?
Millimeter, hectoliter, decimeter, kilometer, hectoliter.
Very good. You have any idea what those are called? What are those?
Measurement.
Units of measurements, correct?
Yes.
Give yourself a round of applause. Okay, so today we're still doing measurement. However, we're moving to a different part of it. But before we dive into it, I want to show you this thing. When you look at it, what does it remind you of?
It's a scale. Miss, one of them every down one.
Raise your hands when you're talking. Lashan, have a seat.
Miss, one side is weird all the way down and one side is kind of up.
Okay. Anybody else notice anything?
Miss,
Aaron?
Miss, one side longer than one.
One side is longer than one.
Miss, Miss, one of them every down one.
Okay. Nayanda? It's a scale. Zidane?
Yes, I have light, I have heavy.
You have light and you have heavy.
Yes, miss. So you see the heavy one will bring up the light one.
Okay. One is lighter. How do you know that it's lighter?
Because one is much heavier, Miss.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to say? Yes?
Miss Molly said we're that one, Miss, because the one on this side, Miss, is weighing that one up.
Okay. Very good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay. So today, I'm going to give you some items, and just by holding it in your hands, I want you to tell me. There you go. You can pass it around the group. Hold it in your hands. And I want you to tell me which is heavier than which and which is lighter than which. Right?
Miss, that's a scale.
Okay, so you had your time to discuss. Have a seat. Okay, now that you have discussed, you can put the items on the desk and put them down onto the hands. No, I want you to raise your hands and tell me which is heavier from the ones that you got. Aaron. The beef is heavier?
Yes,
Okay.
The
tongue? The sugar is heavier? Okay. Okay. Very good. Students? Okay. So based on what we talked about in the last class, we learned about standard
and non-standard
ways of measuring, right? So using your hands to measure, what would you say that is? A standard way or a non-standard way?
Non-standard.
Non-standard way. What about the scale that we saw earlier?
Standard.
You think it's standard?
No, Miss, non-standard.
It is?
non-standard.
Non-standard. Why is it
Miss,
non-standard?
because I want Miss.
Because it's a hanger?
Miss, because it doesn't have any number.
Can you stand and tell your classmates loudly? because it doesn't have a number. Give her a round of applause. What else is there to let you know that it is?
The unit of measurement.
There is no units on it. Very good. And it, one is heavier than, so you don't know the exact measurement of it, right? You just know that one is heavier, right? Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we're going to look at the video now to take us further into our lesson. Pay attention. Listen.
A bag of rice, your cat, and even you.
Is everybody seeing?
Yes, miss.
A bag of rice, your cat, and even you all have mass. Mass is the measurement of how heavy or light an object is. The units we use to measure mass are milligram, gram, and kilogram. Do you know how heavy the average adult is? The average adult has a mass of around 62,000 grams. That's a really big number, though. Did you know that we can convert this number into one that is much simpler? By converting between the units of mass, we can see that 62,000 grams is equal to 62 kilograms. That's better, isn't it? The unit we choose depends on the amount of mass we are measuring. Let's see how this conversion works. The smallest unit we use to measure mass is the milligram. This isn't used very often unless something is incredibly small. 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram. The gram is a very common unit of measurement for things that don't have much mass. If something doesn't have much mass, it is light. Things we measure in grams include small amounts of food like beans or vegetables, and things like toothpaste and bars of soap. The kilogram is the next unit of measurement. 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. The kilogram is the unit of measurement used for things that have a large mass. If something has a large mass, it is heavy. Things we measure in kilograms include a bag of cement, a heavy suitcase, and a human being. Let's take a look at how we convert between these units of mass. Converting between units of mass is quite straightforward because moving...
Okay, based on this video, what were we measuring? The M word. We were measuring mass. We were measuring the mass of the items, right?
Yes, miss.
So, what is that word?
Mass.
Mass. We're measuring the mass of the item. So holding it in a hand, seeing which one is heavier, we're typically measuring.
This number of the unit to measure.
Huh?
This number of the depth to measure.
Yes, we're trying. Now we're going to look at the units that we assign the numbers to.
On scale, miss.
Yes, we're going to look at it and use a scale because we're looking at the standard units of measurement. No, right? Which include the numbers. And based on what we saw in the video, what are some of those units that we use to measure mass?
Miss.
Sean?
Kilogram.
Kilograms. What are the letters that we use to represent kilograms?
Kg.
Gram.
Gram. Milligram.
Milligram. What are the letters?
mg.
Gram.
And what is the other one?
Gram.
Gram. themselves around the house. Okay, back to the products that we have in our hands. If you look very, very closely, there are, you may see these signs and these symbols, these letters on it to indicate if the product was measured in kilogram, milligram, or gram.
Yes, Miss, I see it on juice labels.
Okay, so take your time, quietly, in groups, look at the products that you have in your hand. You're going to see it. Pass it around in groups, look at it. Quietly. You're going to look, maybe it's at the front of the package or it's at the side. Wait. We're going to wait until everybody sees it's going to be passed down. We're looking at the packages. Maybe it's a very, very small one. Maybe you see kilogram, gram, milligram. No shouting. We're giving everybody a chance to look at the packages. Students, hands down. We're giving everybody a chance to look at the packages, okay? Very good. Carol. Very good. Now that we have all seen, I want you to tell me how much your product, what's the mass of your product? Amelie? 60?
50 milligrams.
Milligrams?
15.
20 grams? 500 grams? Students, don't need to shout at me, just raise your hand. Wait.
Ask your question.
That is ounces. So, we're using the, yes? Very good. Okay, let me answer Zidane's question. So, Zidane, that is ounces. We use that when we are doing the imperial system, but we're using the metric system now. That was used a long time ago. So, for example, when you were a baby, your mother would say she's mixing 6 ounces of something for you to drink. So, because it's a tongue, it can be mixed, right? So, that's ounces, but we're looking at the metric system now, right? So, we would say liters, right? Okay. Yes? 26 grams. $340 grams. Okay, very good. Now, 260 grams. 100 and 110 grams.
Miss, this
Yes.
carbohydrates are 2 grams per day.
Oh, so on the package, if you look closely, like the lady is telling us, you may see how many of each ingredient is in the product, right? So he's saying that there is
Carbohydrates are 2 grams.
2 grams of carbohydrates. Very good. And your classmate here is saying that in his product, he's seeing that it has 1 gram of the same carbohydrate.
This is 1%. 1%.
1%.
Yes. And the sodium is 50 milligrams.
15 milligrams of sodium. Very good. Okay, we're going to finish looking at this video to see what else we can get from it, okay, before we move on. Yes.
Between each unit of mass works on scales of 1,000. If we know there are 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram, the mass is quite straight with how we convert between these units of mass. Converting between units of mass is quite straightforward because moving between each unit of mass works on scales of 1,000. If we know there are 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram, all we do is divide milligrams by 1,000 to find the value in grams. So 2,000 milligrams is equal to 2 grams. If you want to convert grams to kilograms, all you need to do is divide grams by 1,000. 5,000 grams equals 5 kilograms. Now, in reverse, moving from kilograms down into smaller units simply requires multiplication by 1,000 instead of division.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the tools that we use to measure. Anybody know what this is? A scale. A scale? Yes, we do. 1 second. Wait a minute. Have a seat. I'll call you. Okay. That's okay. We're moving along. Put your items in the middle of the desk so I can come and pick them up. Okay? Sit right here. Sit. Have a seat. Don't touch it as yet. Okay. So what is this? And we're using it to measure. We're using it to measure. Very good. Okay. So the items that you have, we're going to measure them and see if we can get the same. We're going to weigh them and see if we can get the same mass that is on the package, right? So group 1 said they weighed this and they got 340 grams. Okay. You're seeing 400? You're sure? It's not quite on the 400. If you look at it very, very closely, the needle is right between the 2 big numbers. So it would indeed give us 350 grams. If you look at it closely, wait, I am going to move around. If you look at it closely, this is what the scale is looking like, right? needle is right there. So, based on that measurement, would this be correct? Because Nakeem said it measured 350 grams. Would he be correct?
Yes,
He said it weighs 350 grams. Is he correct? You're sure? No? Okay. For this item, who had this item? Same group? They said it measures, it weighs 110 grams, right? You think this can weigh 110 grams? Okay. Yes, it is. Very good. So we're going to weigh this and see. It's the black numbers. That's where you see. Take notes of the little strokes between. It's between 200 and what? That one is for when it goes all the way around and comes back. Okay? Just back and give the persons at the back a chance to see. Atalia, come and look at the scale. Amelie, Diana, come and look at the scale. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Are you seeing where this measures 110 grams? Okay, so on the scale, the needle, listen, students, listen. On the scale, the needle is between 200 and 100, right? So it's about right here. So it would indeed measure 110 grams, right? So the standard units of measurement gives us the exact number, the exact weight of the product. Is that understood? Okay. Okay. So group 2 measured the sugar and said it weighed the sugar and said it meant 500 grams. Do you think that would be accurate? At a time, no pushing. What number are you seeing? 500 grams. Okay, to the back, let the other person see. Go to your seat so the other person can see it. Okay, go to your seat so the other person get a chance to see. It's not under 600. Keyword, barely. Keyword, barely. It's on the 500. Even though the 500 is not on the scale, we know that 500 is between the 400 and the 600, right? Okay, so even though it is not on the numbers that we can see, we know that 5 is between 4 and 6, right? Okay. good. Pass it around. Give it to your classmates. Give them one hand and most to your classmates. Next time you get to help, okay?
This is the next time.
Walk around and hand them out to your classmates.
This is our turn.
No.
For this.
No, Miss Amanda. No, I don't tell Miss Amanda. Let them know. You know she said?
Okay. On the handouts that you have, if you look closely, you can see types of scales. The types of scales. Do you recognize them? Do you recognize any of them? You have never seen this one before? Okay. Ready? Okay. Students, attention. Okay. On the handout that you have, on the handout that you have, it's showing some types of scale. Do you recognize any of them? Remember to raise your hands. Which one do you recognize? Number 4? Number 4? Like this one that we had this morning, correct? Where's your flyer? Number 1 scale like we were using just now? Yes. The bathroom scale. So I brought one today. Wait. Remember, no shouting. Anybody is familiar with this?
Yes.
What is it? It's a bathroom scale. Do we use it to weigh the flour at the shop?
No.
What do we use it to do? It looks like this? How does it look? Look on your paper. Students, listen. Aaron was just telling us that he knows of a scale that measures chicken and flour. Can you look on your paper and see if you can identify it? Yes, students, you're shouting again. If your hand is up, you don't need to shout. If you want to say something, raise your hand. Very good. A market scale. All of them is able to measure.
Yes, small kitchen scale, there's a bathroom scale, there's a market scale, and balance scale.
Okay, so
That is a one.
would you measure yourself on would you weigh yourself on a small kitchen scale?
No.
What would you weigh on it?
Miss
No
scale.
shouting.
A bathroom scale.
What would you measure? What would you put on the kitchen scale? What would you weigh on it? And what kind of animal? A pig? This is what, students, listen. This is what a kitchen scale looks like. That is a kitchen scale. What would you,
Chicken.
you could put some chicken or some flour on it to get the mass. Vegetable, sugar. So,
Macaroni.
the macaroni to see how much it weighs. Very good. Very good. Very good. So now we have an idea of of the types of scale and what we weigh on them, right? Very good. Now we're going to go through